Thank you, and thank you to the Honourable Minister for all that is. It's quite a lot to take in. I'm going to start with a credit to this administration, which is the acknowledgement of the fact that we have food insecurity. Because farmers has been shouting about food insecurity in Nigeria for about 10 years back, you know. So the fact that they acknowledge it and the administration is being intentional about bringing about food sustainability, that I give to the administration. And of course, we all see all the initiatives that has been coming up. I mean, everyone now wants to go into farming, which is a good thing. But with the efforts that is being made, you know, it's a lot of factors, like he rightfully said, because the gap between the government and the real farmers has been there for over a decade. So before whatever efforts that is being made now would actually give us the right impact, is not going to happen in 12 months. It's not going to happen in 18 months. But yes, I can't sit here and say this administration has not been making efforts to see that we have food sustainability. But now back to reality with what we have on ground. No, it is not enough, not just yet. It is still a lot of work that needs to be done. And I wouldn't want to speak about what the government is doing or the government is not, what the government is doing. I like to speak about what the government is yet to pay attention to.
No, but let us also look at what the government has done, and then we'll take a measurement. Because when you implement a thing, you also need to take stock. That's
right.
why we're here. Yes.
I agree on that. What the government is doing, trying to help the farmers, get input to the farmers, is one thing, is one aspect.
Have you received any help yourself? Because you are a farmer. You started by...
The farmers, my farmers had been reached out to from their commissioners for agriculture, the way the system works. From the commissioners for agriculture in a couple of states, you know, they've reached out to the farmers to give them fertilizers, you know, a couple of it. Not yet enough. Okay,
agricultural production input supplies, including power tillers, knapsack sprayers, herbicides, organic fertilizers, and over 5,000 metric tons of maize seeds. This is just...
My darling, 5,000 metric tons of maize seed for Nigeria is a joke.
No, for each of the 25 farmers within clusters. Is that not enough to at least...
Well, if this has been given to each of the
25 farmers within clusters.
Farmers within clusters, then we should, you and I should see that in the markets. I mean, it's not for me to sit there and answer. But as I was saying before, whatever the government is doing now, or what the government is doing now is just a beginning in terms of giving out farm inputs to farmers. Nigeria is a big country. And if you look at it, the numbers of grassroots farmers that has been neglected over the years is a lot. I don't even think that the ministry themselves has the right data to that, which is why I said I wouldn't want to go into that, deeply into that, because I don't work for the government, so I may not have the right data. I represent the women in agriculture.
But that's why we're asking from where you stand.
I just said it. It's not enough. Whatever the government has given to the farmers is not enough. And where I'm going, in order for whatever the government is giving to the farmers, because everyone keep putting attention on what did you give to farmers, what did you give to farmers, there are bigger issues that we need to address here. In order for what the government, let's even assume that the government...
Sorry, we need to, as a farmer, have you received, and I'm just asking you now, have you received any of these, interventions?
No.
To the tune that the government says?
No. But you can't take away the fact that compared to what we had before, quite a number of farmers has been empowered within January and now.
Beautiful.
But is it enough? No, it is not enough. We're just getting started. And now I'd like to put this out there. It is not enough for government to give farm inputs to farmers, because the industry, the sector itself has been neglected, or the right thing hasn't been done for a very long time. There is a lot of orientation that needs to be, the mentality and the approach of these farmers we're talking about that the ministry is actually not working on.
What kind of approach?
So, right. So, let me use something that all of us understand. Just because a farmer believes that the people in Abuja earns more money and she's grown her tomatoes in Buhari Council or something, somewhere in Abaji, near Abuja, he or she then brings this to the market in Abuja and inflates the price about 1,000% on it, because it's expected that as far as he or she believes that people in Abuja earns more money. And then she watches these tomatoes from when they were hard, because of course she's inflated the prices, until when they start going bad, and then she brings down the price and at the end of the day sells at loss. That is an example of how, because we do a lot of orientation work as an association. So the fact that in order for us to maximize all of this support, all the help that the government has started giving out, which is actually just the beginning, there is a lot of our farmers, especially the grassroots farmers, they need a lot of training when it comes to their ideology, their orientation, and the need to understand that farming and agric now has gone beyond just I want to farm to eat some, sell some so I could pay my bills. There is what we call agribusiness. All of this and much more needs to be done in order for whatever help. If the government comes out today and they do like they did those years we did census and goes from door to door to give support to farmers and what have you, if the right training and the orientation for our farmers is not done, we will keep having this conversation of there is food insecurity in Nigeria. When it comes to grains, you see farmers, I tell my women, what you're doing, you're being penny wise, pound foolish. You harvested your corn, and instead of you to bring out the corn and sell now, you keep it in your warehouses and wait until there is no more corn, and then you come out and you claim that you're making a kill on it. But you forget that if you'd sold this corn at the time where you bought it, and you'd actually bought your agrochemicals and other inputs at that time, the prices of your inputs is increasing just as the prices you're selling the corn is increasing as well. So this is another aspect that we also need to look into. These farmers, do they understand the value chain, how it works, how it is important that when I harvest, I have to sell at a certain rate, why it is important that I should not inflate prices of my farm produce. I'll tell you another thing. This is really saddening. When input comes from the farmers, right? Say a farmer gets inputs for a plot of land. They will now say, oh, because they know that maybe extension workers will come later to check. So they'll divide the plot into two, and they'll be planting one, and they will not, half of it they won't pay attention. Just something to show to the extension workers when they come. They take half of it and put on another half plot of land, and they pay attention to it. They believe that they are being smart. Who does that favor? You're losing out. The government that is giving you input is losing out. And generally, we as a people, it affects the cost of that food in the market. Because if he or she had paid the same attention to the one she believes is for government, the way she's paid attention to the half plot, so we have more yield. And I can go on and on.
In other
like
words, there's need for greater awareness from the education, from government and all those.
And supervision.
And
Indeed.
supervision, yes.
And supervision.